gotta love new WWF figures with real wrestling action. Jake the Snake Roberts versus the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Yeah. DiBiase lands a $1 million punch. Match Hulk Hogan against the Macho King Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, my almost master finish Hogan guaranteed.
Hogan slams him again. Match Andre the Giant against the Ultimate Warrior. Andre will squash the Ultimate Maniac. WWF figures so close to the real thing, it's like being in the ring.
What it is, y'all. What Mike said, Speak Clout Podcast, exclusive episode. I'm with my brother from Goons Clout Gallery, Faygoluvers, Jokerz Gallery in the fucking building with me.
It's good, man. That fucking commercial gets your adrenaline fucking pumping, I swear.
Yeah, you can hear it okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear.
Great. So today, man, you know, you probably don't know this, but if you follow me on Instagram, you would know this. I'm a fucking wrestling figure mark, you know, and the WWF Hasbro Figures being my favorite, as is my brother Jokerz Gallery right here. So today we're doing top 5 WWF Hasbro action figures, man. And like we do every episode, we talk about how we discovered the certain fucking product. So for me, as far as back as I could remember, wrestling figures is in my life. You know, the LJN ones, you know, from the 80s. I remember having Big John Studd, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant with the fucking afro.
Yep.
King Kong Bundy, you name it. That Corporal Kirshner was a fucking job guy damn there, right? Nikolai Volkov, Iron Sheik. I had all of them, bro. Because my uncle bought me them when I was a baby. I was born in 85. Those came out in 85.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I loved them, you know, but by the time I got old enough, it was done. The line was done. So, you know, out of nowhere, I remember this like it was yesterday. Okay, it was at night when I seen the commercial that I just showed, and I think it was prime time because Wrestling Challenge came on like in a morning afternoon. So prime time on USA Network, I believe. I seen that commercial and I was fucking floored. And then my uncle seen it too, and he happened to know the manager of KB Toy Works, and he gave him the exact date they were going on.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I told my uncle I want Hulk Hogan and I want Macho Man. And if they don't have them, I want Jake the Snake and Ted DiBiase. So he comes home with Jake and Ted, and I was fucking just blown away. I was so happy. And then it's funny, my cousin's dad, he stole Smash from me, right? Just no package, just hands me the figure without the package. And then my uncle was the completest for me. So the next day, he gets me Axe and Hulk Hogan. And it was fucking amazing from there. This action figure line lasted from 1990 to 1994. After 1992, forget about it. I couldn't find them, Brandon, at all. They were hard to find after that, you know. But that's my introduction into Hasbro figures, man. How about you, brother?
For me, I was growing up a wrestling fan super early. And like you said, the LJNs came out in 85. I got some of them for my birthday. I got the, it's funny you mentioned Big John Studd, Andre, and Hulk, because that's the ones I got too. They must have been like the super produced ones. Everybody had those 3. Like those must have been the ones they produced the fuck out of. But I had those 3. And also was watching like NWA/AWA as well. So I had like some of the Remco figures. And growing up in Owensboro, the Memphis wrestling circuit, Jerry Lawler's like USWA circuit would tour here. So I seen like, you know, the Road Warriors and the Fabulous Ones at the Sports Center here locally. So of course I want their fucking action figures, and they were in the Remco. So I was playing with both of those lines. And then they just got really hard to find. I think they were making LJNs all the way up to like 89, but after like 89, but after like 87, I don't think they were going to like the Walmarts and shit like that, because it just dried up. I couldn't find them like once they got into like 87, 88. I know the 89 ones, you almost basically had to order out of a catalog to be able to get a hold of them. Yep. So like wrestling figures had really fucking dried up in between that time. And like you were saying, watching Prime Time or Superstars, one of those shows I'd be watching of wrestling back in the day, seeing that commercial was the first time I was introduced to them. And I also remember them sitting on the table whenever Bobby Heenan and Gorilla would be hosting Primetime Wrestling. They'd have the ring with the figures in there, and that's how I'd see most of the figures for the first time, was whatever figures they had in that ring. So I think that's probably my introduction to them, as well as far as seeing them. And as far as getting them, let's see, me and my mom was at Walmart and we were looking for them, and the only one they had like 4 Rick Rudes and 1 Hulk Hogan, but like the 1 Hulk Hogan, some kid was walking around with it, like he'd picked it up, and he like asked his mom if he could get it, and we heard him ask, and she said no. So we're like, eventually he's gonna have to lay this fucking figure down. So we like stalked this kid and just followed him around until he had to put down the Hulk Hogan figure. So my first 2 figures was Hulk Hogan and Rick Rude. So they had like a feud for like 6 weeks until I got a ring and other figures to go with them. I got the ring at for Christmas. I think it was 1990. I sent a picture over to Mike. I don't know if you have it or not, but it's like young ass me opening up the Christmas morning packages, and you can see my Hasbro ring along with like some Batman shit. I think there's some Spytek stuff. There's a Hulk Hogan watch on the tree and shit. It's some classic old school shit that people watching this probably dig seeing. But yeah, I got the ring for Christmas, and once I got the ring, it was on. I would just, every time I'd get my allowance, when I'd get $10, I'd go buy 2 new figures anytime that I could find them. But like you were saying, you had the hookup kind of with KB Toys, knowing when they were coming out. I couldn't ever find the motherfuckers. So like, luckily there was 2 stores that were hardware stores here in Owensboro. One's called Keister's and one's called Big Blue, and they had a pretty good toy section that people didn't blow up like Walmart and the KB and all that shit here. So I was able to find most of my like Hasbro figures at a hardware store, oddly enough.
Oh yeah, the department stores always had them for me. Like the East Coast, it was called like Bradley's and Games and shit like that. They had them.
Yeah, Kmart. We had Kmart here, Walmart, and a KB Toys, and they would always be out of them. Other than like, they would have like the guys that I already had and nobody else wanted. Like Rick Rude was like the least popular one of the first series. Yeah. You can find him anywhere.
Go ahead, brother. My bad.
But I couldn't find like Andre, and then later on I couldn't find like Honky Tonk Man and Dusty Rhodes and shit like that. I found them at the hardware store, not at like department stores.
I fucking got Rick Rude at a Stop and Shop supermarket. my uncle was, we drove that. He just from the back seat just fucking tosses me Rick Rude, you know.
Hell yeah, that's fucking dope.
1990, yeah. Fucking
like I said, Rick Rude was my first and second figure, Hulk Hogan and Rick Rude, so I know well about that figure. Like, that's the only 2 I had, so them dudes feuded for like 6 weeks until I got more.
That's what it was like, bro.
Straight up.
I had Hogan teaming up with Demolition, against like Jake the Snake and DiBiase. I kind of made DiBiase a babyface that night, you know what I'm saying? Because you gotta think, you know what I'm saying, when you're a kid.
Yeah, that's dope. I was gonna ask you if you were one of those people that like booked out the shit, thought about it and then booked it out. Yeah, me too. Like I had records and books and everything. Like who had the titles and all that shit. Like booking it was as fun as fucking playing it.
Amazing. Yep, that's why I want to talk about this, man. It's only right. This is my favorite toy line of all time. I was a big fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mark, a big Mighty Morphin Power Rangers mark. Fucking Ghostbusters, you name it. X-Men on the Marvel Heroes, DC. But nothing beats the Hasbros for me, brother. And once I figure out how to do it, at the end of the show, I'm going to show Brandon on Christmas opening up his presents and shit, because that's a dope pick. I want to show that.
Oh, yeah.
But, 5-1. I'll go first, man. He's not in my top 5 wrestlers of all time, but I was definitely a big fan of this guy. He had to make the list, man. It's a fucking like the perfect image of my childhood, man. I'm talking about the Immortal Hulk Hogan. Yeah, this figure was amazing. Gorilla press action still works. Wind him up a little bit. There you go. Yeah, man, this is incredible. Pristine condition. You want to know the commercials and stuff like that. My favorite Hogan. A lot of people go with the fucking Hulkplex from like Series 3, but Blue Card Hulk, 1990 is my favorite fucking Hulk Hogan figure of all time. Next would be the LJN probably, but yeah, this figure is amazing, man. This is just like a pinnacle of my childhood. Like some people have, like I said, the Ninja Turtles and all that, but this is my figure of my childhood right here, man. Hulk Hogan, 1990, Blue Card. Played him a lot, man. A lot of motherfuckers you see on eBay, his fingers are off, not me. All his fucking fingers are there. No paint loss. This figure is immaculate. I love it. Like Zack Ryder said, Matt Cardona said, this is like this childhood. You know, it is. So my number 5, kind of low on the list, but the figures are like a little bit more than this. But yep, Hulk Hogan's my number 5.
For like wrestling figures, that's arguably like you think of for comic books, you think of the first Superbad or the fucking first appearance of Spider-Man, just that iconic cover. Like that figure is arguably that for wrestling figures. So, it's gotta be in the top 5.
Yeah.
And the play, yep. Like, and the playability is what made it, like you talked about, was so cool with it. You could actually use it. It wasn't one that was stuck in like a bad position, like the bear hug Hogan that came later. That one sucked.
Second series Hogan from '91 was trash.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything with that shit.
No.
But speaking of playability, that'll get into my 5 spot. It'll be the Ultimate Warrior Series 2 because of the playability. I don't like those jumpers, the ones where their legs are put together and you push down on the back and they jump, and that's what Warrior was in the first series.
I didn't like that. This guy's like my second favorite wrestler of all time. My favorite wrestler at the time, and it was a terrible figure.
Yeah, at the time he was my favorite wrestler, and I didn't like using his figure. So whenever Series 2 came out, and it was that same design as that Hogan Series 1, so it had all the playability. He had the fucking white gear on, so he had different paint scheme and everything. That dude looked like a main eventer. Like that dude looked like somebody that was going to be the world champion. The limit for Series 1 Ultimate Warrior was the Intercontinental belt. The limit for Series 2 Ultimate Warrior was fucking world champion. Yep, there you go, right there.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that figure. I know you were talking about with the Hogan, they always get paint loss and finger loss. Same with him because of the build of it. And also, I've noticed his nose. Like, it's really hard to find a mint condition one without his nose being all like almost pretty much scraped off.
Brown.
So I don't know if that was just a flaw in the design or whatever, but it's hard to find like a mint one with his nose intact. Seems like if he took one face bump, his nose was gone. One X Factor, his nose was OV, man.
It was dope as fuck. Like, he really wore this attire.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was Survivor Series 1990 when it was like Tito Santana, Hogan, and him and some other guys. I can't remember, but he definitely wore that attire.
And that build looks more like the Ultimate Warrior. Like that first one, like I was talking about Series 1 being the jumper. He didn't look like the Ultimate Warrior. He wasn't all jacked and shit. Like he's bigger than Hogan. And in Series 1, he just looked like kind of like a chubby dude. And Hogan's all fucking buff and shit. And now with this one, he basically matched Hogan and looked like he should be in the main event of fucking WrestleMania 6 against Hogan.
Funny story with this one, Brandon. Fucking our VCR wasn't working. We're trying to watch like Beauty and the Beast or something on Disney cassette, right? I'll never forget this. And we went to the CVS store at night, and then across the street from CVS, in the same plaza, was KB Toyworks, and my uncle got me Roddy Piper and that Warrior, bro.
Oh yeah.
I lost my mind. It's the first time I seen him, you know.
That was what was so dope about it back in the day. Like I said, usually the first time I seen those fucking things were either hanging in the store or on TV. So like,
yeah,
it was, and there was no internet to just order it off Ringside Collectibles. So like, you would find that shit. It'd be like a treasure hunt.
Because I had all of Series 1, you know, so I didn't know Series 2 was out until I seen them on the pegs.
Yup. And that's something like I was saying, you don't see anymore. Like Ringside Collectibles will have what's coming up for the next 6 months already like pictured.
Yep. Back then you had to fucking work to get them, man.
Yeah, I remember calling. I was talking about how like department stores didn't have the hookup. So like I would call places. Me and my homie Sean, we both collected wrestling figures, and he would call like a list, and I would call a list and see if anybody would say they had, like, especially once WCW came out, because those were even harder to find. But with Hasbro's as well, like whenever new series would come out, we'd call and ask for somebody specifically we knew was only in that series. So if the person came back and said they had them, then we knew they had that entire series. So that was how we fucking tracked them down, was literally calling every day after school, like calling Kmart, calling Walmart, calling KB Toys, calling any place that has like even like a pharmacy, like Rite Aid might have them, like calling them places. Like, I'm sure by like the third or fourth time we've called these people, they're just putting the phone down, not even looking and saying no. But we blew them up every day for like probably 6 months.
That's awesome. Oh yeah. Great choice, brother. At number 5, man. My number 4, Series 1, 1990. It should be a little higher, man, but his figures I like more than this. But this guy's on my top 5 wrestlers of all time. I'm talking about the Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Oh yeah, classic.
This is the best mold of all time, in my personal opinion. Still fresh. Perfect figure. These came out in 1990, but this is 89. You can tell, just like Mega Powers, Macho Man before turning heel on Hulk again. But fantastic. The likeness is dope as fuck. Yeah,
it's great. Great likeness before like all the real scans and shit like that. Like that's spot on Macho Man right there. And they got the glasses molded on. That was dope. The headband.
And he saw a lot of time in the ring, going off the top rope with the elbow like this.
Oh yeah.
Like this is it's like Hulk Hogan, a perfect picture from my childhood is this action figure right here, man. I know it off. Just by it could be a mold of the figure, like just without being painted, I know it's fucking Macho Man. It's like big part of my life. Bought this motherfucker everywhere in my grandma's house, like everywhere, man. And he's my top 5 wrestlers of all time. Blue card, Macho Man Randy Savage with the elbow smash action is my number 4. And like I said, this mold is my favorite mold of all time. It's perfect. Amazing action figure, man. Randy Savage.
Yeah, they should have made a lot more of the figures in that mold. I don't know why they didn't. Like, it was so playable compared to some of the other ones.
I know. Martel had that. Sean had that. Marty Jannetty, singles.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of playability, the number 4 on my list is a huge reason is one of the playabilities of the figures because it's a 2-pack. It's going to be the tag team 2-pack of Smash and Crush, not Axe. Even though I like the Axe better overall, and that's the classic lineup, those masks. Those masks came with that 2-pack, man. Those masks were so fucking badass looking. Like, it took those figures to a whole new level. But I think Smash is one of the best playable characters as well. Like, you could do anything with that figure. Like, he had both arms free to go 360 degrees, so you could do anything with him. So I ended up having like Smash have like a singles run in my figure fed. Like he was a main eventer there for a little while just because he was fun to use in the ring because you could do shit with him. So I definitely wanted to put the Demolition pack on there, and I definitely played with Smash and Axe more as a tag team. But like I said, those masks that came with Smash and Crush makes it fucking worth it. Those masks were badass. I literally already had Axe and Smash, and I got this 2-pack and pretty much, paid a price for a 2-pack just for Crush and then the 2 masks because I already had Smash. That's how dope those masks were.
And you know how parents were back then. You already have it, but my uncle wasn't like that. He's like, nigga, you getting it. And I like this because in the game WrestleFest, the arcade game, that's who it is. It's Crush and Smash,
Yeah.
And I love Crush just as much as I love Axe, So, yeah, what a dope choice, brother. I love those figures to death.
These figures in particular, the Crush and Smash, like I was talking about the mask being so dope. I had another homie that collected figures and he couldn't find them anywhere. So he had like basically given up on being able to find them. So he offered me his Legion of Doom shoulder pads. Remember those that you could get at like the shows, like the foam shoulder pads that you could wear? Yeah. So I traded my Demolitions for some fucking foam LOD shoulder pads that I always wanted.
It was always in the catalogs, remember? In the magazine?
Yep. Yeah, you always seen like they'd always show kids wearing them whenever LOD came out and shit. And I was like, damn, those are badass. And they like never came to town to where I could buy them. And he had some, so I ended up trading these 2 figures for a like mint fucking LOD shoulder pad set.
And the facial expressions on the figures are phenomenal. You know who it is. Just look at it.
Yep, that was amazing about Hasbro is they got this little figure that somehow has a better likeness than a lot of the Mattel figures that have real scan and 20 years later technology, 30 years later technology, and they still can't get them as good.
Right?
Like, especially you look at the retros. Like, look how bad that retro of Shawn Michaels was. I thought that was Chris. I thought that was Chris Masters.
The best retros are like Macho with the green tights.
Yo.
Diesel from '94, amazing. But yeah,
it's cool they finally put him out because it was always rumored he was supposed to be in the next series of Hasbro's that didn't come out. So it was cool they put him in for sure. I like the Gold Dust. It was dope. It was old school Gold Dust.
With the wig?
Yep.
Fire shit.
Yeah, that one was pretty dope.
Great choice, brother. I love those figures. I got these figures the same day I got the ring, I believe.
The ring we didn't even really get into before we started talking about it. The ring was big, man, because other than that, you're just wrestling on the table or a pillow or something like that. And the ring was only like, I think it was $16.99. It was super affordable, but that's where you got the title belt for your fucking figure fed. Like the world title was the fucking came with the ring. So you almost had to have that ring so you get you a fucking title belt. I remember using one of the AWA Rimco title belts until I got the ring to have like a Hasbro title belt.
The ring is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it was dope. I still think it's the best ring of all time. The best design. I mean, even when the retros reproduced the ring, they basically made it the same exact ring. There was nothing you could really do to improve it.
Love that ring, man. The turnbuckles, the fucking ropes, everything was perfect. Everything was perfect.
Came with the flag that stuck in the side into the post for some reason. I never really got that, but it was cool.
Yeah, I gave the flag to Duggan to walk around with.
Straight up, me too.
You know?
or I had flag matches with Duggan in them versus somebody.
Oh yeah. So we're getting down to the top three, man. Top three. This is very sentimental to me. My Uncle Tony that passed away in 1998 got me this figure Christmas with a bunch of other guys. Talking about Bret the Hitman Hart. The blue card Bret. I know there's the fucking red card with the silver shades and the skull and the wings, but he's too expensive. This is my favorite Bret. His mechanism works perfect. It's called the Heart Attack. You can hear that motherfucker wind up. Dog, this figure is like, it's in my top three. It means the world to me. Bret's in my top 5 wrestlers of all time as well. Phenomenal likeness. You know, I just love it. It's incredible. This is like Intercontinental Championship era Bret.
Yep.
You know,
he was pretty much one of my, if not my favorite wrestlers at the time. And that was one of the series I was talking about dried up, and I couldn't find them around here. I never had Bret growing up, so yeah, I always wanted that figure for sure.
Yeah, my Uncle Tony, he lived in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, like way far, and they had him. He got me him, the Undertaker, Nasty Boys, Legion of Doom, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, which I didn't like, for Christmas '92. The same Christmas I got Super Nintendo. I'll never forget that.
Yep, that's that whole era I couldn't find. The only ones I had out of all those you just listed was Legion of Doom. All the rest of them I never could find.
Yeah, they were hard to find over here. That's for damn sure. I never seen Bret in my town.
And yeah, I didn't like the Ricky the Dragon Steamboat either because he had like the cape and shit on.
I like no jumpers at all. But yeah, immaculate figure, perfect figure, awesome play pose, man. This is a top tier action figure for me. My number 3, Bret the Hitman Hart, blue card with the heart attack mechanism, which is fucking amazing. I love that shit.
Oh yeah. Move it up to my 3 spot. Another one from Series 1, Jake the Snake Roberts, along with Damien. Damien is a big reason that it was there because I used the snake in so many like gimmicks and angles in my fucking figure fed. Always like used like other action figure. I think it was like a Star Wars like felt case I'd use for a bag or whatever because he didn't ever come with a bag, so I always like had to figure out some way to use something to carry him out and like throw Damien in the corner and then like throw him out of the bag like Jake would do. But also the Jake figures, another one of those super playable. Like both arms moved 360. It wasn't fucking chunky. It looked just like him. It had the dope ass like snakeskin boots painted on.
Yes,
like
sir.
And like I said, he came with fucking Damien. Looks just like him, and both of his arms does the 360, so he's not locked into any pose where you can't do it. You could do the fucking DDT with him perfectly. So playability was big in my figure fed. He had several world title runs because of how good his figure was and how much you could do with him and Damien. So I definitely wanted to have him on my list. I'll put him at the 3 spot.
Awesome, brother. This is the figure I got the night they were released. You know, I got this Jake and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and I played with Jake a lot. I made him a heel when he became heel. You know, I wish they made a Jake heel figure. They could have with the fucking flame tights.
Yeah, and the Cobra. That would be dope.
That'd be fire with the black glove and shit.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite era, Jake.
Hell yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's fire, dog.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he could have made the list, dog. He could have, man, but it's hard, man. But he definitely be my top 10 honorable mentions. Jake the Snake Roberts, man. Definitely. Amazing.
And he's just an iconic character, too. Yeah. I mean, we talked about LJNs earlier. His LJN was really fucking dope, too.
Yeah, it was.
He's always been on the good side of action figures. He's always had some really dope fucking action figures.
I'm a picky motherfucker, so I didn't like how the LJN had purple boots. I'm like, Jake never wore that. You know what I'm saying? Like the Hasbro got the snakeskin boots and shit down.
Yeah, the snakeskin boots set it over the top for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, Hasbro's was on it, man, with them details.
Yep. Absolutely. Great choice, brother. So we going into the top 2, man, and I never had this as a child at all. You know, this motherfucker, like my uncle, man, like he went on like trips to find this. My other uncle too that passed away, like they couldn't find him at all. I didn't have him until like adulthood. Shout out to my lovely girlfriend. She got me him years ago. Our first era of relationship. But I'm talking about the bad guy, Razor Ramon.
Oh yeah, that figure's dope as shit.
Yellow card Razor. Immaculate. He does the Razor Rage. It's a clothesline. A lot of guys had this mechanism. This is heel Razor Ramon. You can tell. This is like feuding with Bret the Hitman Hart, Macho Randy Savage.
Yep, coming off the Scarface fucking vignettes.
Yep, straight up, man.
And Hasbro was the master of accessories too, like the gold chains.
Yeah, look at that.
Super dope. Like I was talking about with Damien, but getting the gold chains with fucking Razor, that's another thing you can have matches for and fucking ladder matches for. And all. That's another fucking tool in your toolbox for your figure fed.
You could tell that's Ramon too, right?
Yeah.
Like you look at the Hasbros, you got a fat fucking face. It's terrible. I mean the Mattels.
Yep.
But the Hasbros are just phenomenal, man. Look at that.
Kind of reminds me of the Bendham's face. The Bendham for Razor's real good too.
The Just Toy Bendhams, yep.
Yep.
I seen this dude one time with Shawn Michaels and like Boss Man, the second Boss Man with the clothesline mechanism too.
Yeah.
I was broke as fuck. I'm like, damn. And my uncle's like, I'm gonna get him for you. He goes there's nothing. That's how popular these were.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was fucking like, I don't know if people remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back in the day when those popped. Like, fucking, that's how those fucking Hasbros were when they first dropped.
My mom had to put a rain check on the Red Ranger, bro. And I was in a fucking line. The line was going outside, no lie. And this is the summer when they released, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. Now I got all my Power Rangers. I got all the 8-inch line right over there. Happy I got that shit, but yeah, man, Razor Ramon, my number 2, because I wanted this as a kid so fucking bad, and I finally got it. So, yep, Razor Ramon.
And he's such a dope character, too. You wanted him in your fig fed. He was like the freshest character that WWF had brought out in a really long time.
Yep.
Pretty much basically a wrestling Scarface.
Yep.
If you watch them vignettes, like he snuck them right by Vince. Vince didn't know what Scarface was, and Hall used those motherfuckers basically verbatim.
Yeah, he did everything.
It's dope. Move it up to my 2 spot one. It's already been talked about. Randy Savage from Series 1. Mike already talked about it. The best playability of any figure ever. He was always at the top of my fed because he's so much fucking fun to use. He could do his elbow smash, and it's classic like main event Randy Savage whenever he won the title in the tournament and was with the Mega Powers. It's that era. It's before he started wearing the long pants and shit. So that's like my era Macho Man. So I wanted to get him on my list for sure. So I got him at the 2 spot.
Oh yeah, brother. This body's the Macho King figure. I love that figure too, but you know, and that whack ass one from like Series 6, maybe. Yeah,
where he's got the like hat and jacket on, and you can't do anything with because he's got like the streamers coming down his arm.
And he's a jumper.
I guess by that time, what Hasbro was thinking is kids would rather have this and to do interview segments, because that's the only thing I used them for. Was like I would do interview segments with them wearing that shit. So I'm guessing like Hasbro's like, we've already put out 3 fucking figures of this dude so you can wrestle with. Let's put one out to where you can fucking cut promos with. That's the only reason I could think that figure exists, because they had to know you couldn't play with the fucking thing.
Yeah. That's terrible. That fucking jacket. My Uncle Tony, RP, he hated that jacket one.
I don't know anybody really likes it.
Yeah.
If you leave it in the package, it's cool. But for playing with it, it ain't no good at all.
No, I'm still collecting Hasbros. I don't want no jumpers in my collection. Only jumper I do want is Hulk. Because LOD, right? That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's probably the only one. Yeah.
And me being a Rockers mark when I was a kid, I hated that. Both them niggas with jumpers.
Yeah, that sucked. They should have both been like Macho Man. One should have been like Macho Man, and one should have been like Brett.
Oh, I'd be fire.
Yeah, yeah. They got the worst figures, and it seemed like they made the most of those. You could find them in the Bushwhackers everywhere.
Dog. Before I go on to my number 1, these are the doubles I had of. Okay, because my grandma Liz, my mother's side and my father's side of the family, she bought me them. My mom, my uncle bought me them. Honky Tonk Man. I had so many Honky Tonk Man. 4 of them.
Oh shit.
Bushwhackers, tons of fucking Bushwhackers. My God, and I hate the Bushwhackers, so I was pissed. You know?
Had a stable of Bushwhackers.
Bunch of Butch and Looks. Yeah, man. Yeah, Butch and Luke was terrible. I didn't fuck with them. But Duggins, who had a lot of Hacksaw Jim Duggins. I'm like, damn. But
the only one that I had doubles of is Smash, and then like I said, I ended up trading one of those. Yeah. But I do remember having like the Series 1 $1 Million Man, and then the green suit came out, and I liked the green suit better. So I bought the green suit, and Ted DiBiase became the one in the green suit, and the one in the black suit became Fred DiBiase, who was somebody that it was his twin brother that he paid for to look just like him to come in and like jump into matches.
That's a fire storyline, dog. If you told Vince that in 1991, yeah.
Straight up. It was like because remember he paid for it to have that referee look like Earl Hebner. He paid for the twin Hebner, so I just made him pay for a twin brother of himself this time.
Fred DiBiase, that's brilliant. Oh yeah. All right, number 1, another figure I did not have as a child, but he had to be him, man. Favorite wrestler of all time. Yellow card, 1993. Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah, that figure is so fucking dope.
Tattoo still all intact.
Another one of those details I was talking about with Hasbro, man. To put that on there back in the day, like I collected like sports cards, and sports cards were literally blurring out like Dennis Rodman's tattoos and shit back in that day, and fucking Hasbro's putting it on their fucking figure for kids. So shout out to Hasbro for that detail, man. That's super dope.
This is 1992, 1993. Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. I love the boy toy attire. You know, it's amazing attire. It's like him against El Matador at WrestleMania 8.
Yeah, like him with Sherry.
Him and Sherry, yeah, it's just that's that Shawn right there. Feuding with Marty Jannetty, feuding with Bret the Hitman Hart, like in '92. Straight up, you know, WrestleMania 9 against Tatanka. This is like, Shawn Michaels had left the building. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that era.
Yeah.
In the Continental title era, Shawn Michaels
throwing Marty Jannetty through a window.
Yo, and I would want I would tell every family member that actually bought me shit to get this. I wanted this so fucking bad. You know?
Because, like you said, the Rockers Shawn Michaels sucked, and by then he was like, you know, Intercontinental Champion level on like wrestling. So you wanted a good figure of him, and you didn't want to have to use that fucking shitty Rockers figure.
It was terrible. His fucking hand was like this. Oh, it's fucking ass.
Yeah, they were horrible. Yeah.
Shout out to my girlfriend Melissa for getting me this a few years back. Amazing.
Oh yeah, that's a dope ass figure.
Yeah, number 1, man.
And like you said, the best build of figures too. Like if you could pass the torch from Macho Man on to somebody, then Shawn Michaels is the good one to do it with. But it's like in-ring ability and everything. It's like the two workers they pass the torch on to the good build.
Absolutely.
Move it up to my one spot. I already talked about it as well. I mean, it's legendary. It's the Coca-Cola of the Hasbro, in my opinion. If some people say they want a Coke, whatever they're talking about, a Pepsi or anything, just because it's just what it is. The Coca-Cola of Hasbro's is Series 1 Hulk Hogan. You can't get more classic. I mean, he's got the Hulk Rules shirt. He's got the rips in the back. It's the red and yellow. He's got the bandana on. It's that prime era of Hulk Hogan, like I said, because Series 1 Warrior kind of sucked. So Hogan was the one that was fucking top of the card until that Series 2 Warrior came and took the strap from him in my Fed. So, and like I said, he's my first figure that I had. Him and Rick Rude fucking feuded for 6 weeks. So I'm very familiar with that figure, very playable. You could drop the leg drop with him. You could slam Andre with it. And it's just classic Hogan. If you think about Hulk Hogan and at the top of Hulkamania, it's that right there. It's that look.
Absolutely, brother. This is, like I said, pinnacle of my childhood right there. Absolutely.
And as picky as I am with wrestling figures, I'll tell you what separated Hogan and Savage from 1 and 2. Hogan's got his fucking wrist tape painted. That's the only thing that ever pissed me off about that fucking Savage figure is his fucking tape. It's on there, but it's painted the same color as his fucking skin. It's like, just paint the fucking shit white.
It's right there.
Yep, that's literally what separated Hogan and Macho Man from 1 and 2. If Macho Man had his fucking tape fucking painted white, he'd be number 1 on my list.
Oh yeah, brother. How you enjoyed this? Sorry about that, but
we was talking about the ring, how you had to get the ring basically to get a world title. What did you use for your world title, tag titles, etc.? Did you have anything like special you made up to use them? Because, like I said, you only get basically the world title. What'd you use for your tag titles?
Oh, this is ghetto as fuck, but it worked, right? A watch, right?
Yeah.
And my uncle found a winged eagle image inside a magazine, cut it out, and glued it on the fucking watch.
Oh shit, that's fucking dope. Hell yeah.
It looked good. It looked good, right?
Hell yeah.
And then
that's some early innovation right there.
Oh hell yeah.
It's not my answer is not nearly as cool as that. I just used the WCW titles that came with the Galoobs. I just used 2 of those for my tag titles. Did you use the $1 million belt for anything? Was it like a title he defended, or did you just have it as a prop for him?
I did $1 million championship tournament with that.
Yep, that's what I'd always do. Like I'd do like a tournament for it, or put it on the line at like a big like pay-per-view, or have a battle royal for it or shit. Because fucking kids are spoiled these days, man. You buy fucking 15 figures, you'll have 12 title belts. Like we had 1 title belt for a good like year before anything else came out. So you had to think of some shit to have some fucking tables or some titles with.
Crazy shit, man. Like honorable mentions, man. Demolition, like Brandon already brought up. Snake Roberts, Ultimate Warrior, the Gorilla Press, and this one. This is incredible.
Yeah, that's the dopest looking one for sure.
Yeah, perfect play pose. Fucking, how cool is that?
The boots are fucking immaculate. Like the tassels and shit, those are dope as fuck.
This is like 1991 Ultimate Warrior. I'm a nerd, so I can tell what era it is. Like when he had the championship against Sergeant Slaughter and shit, and Undertaker burying him on fucking Superstars. I love this Warrior.
I'm talking about liking the motion. I think the Texas Tornado motion was the best one of the series. You could do his finisher. He spun around and did the Texas fucking twirl. I think it was called Punch, and it was his finisher. I think that was probably the coolest fucking action feature of any of them.
I have a big ass Hasbro bag. I can't even find it. I was gonna pull him out, but yeah, he was awesome, man. Definitely an honorable mention, Kerry Von Erich. I'm a big Kerry Von Erich mark.
Yep. Like I said, growing up watching other shit besides WWF, I knew about Kerry Von Erich. Like I remember him and Jerry Lawler having that fucking unification match. So when I seen Texas Tornado come into the WWF, I was immediately a fan of him. Same way with Dusty Rhodes. I'll give that one a shout out. As much as I would rather have Dusty in like classic Dusty like attire, it was still cool to have a Dusty Rhodes figure for sure.
Although there's a better figure of this, he has more detail to his attire. This is an honorable mention all fucking day.
Yo, that's the one I had. So I was gonna say specifically the yellow singlet version because I didn't have the other one. The other one was cool because it had Mr. P on the fucking boots.
Boots and all that,
Yeah, but the one I had was that one, so I would definitely say the honorable mention for that one.
Definitely Mr. Perfect honorable mention.
One that I never hear anybody really bring up, I think because the character was kind of whack, is I dug Akeem. Because he, like I said, his arms could go 360. He could do anything. So he's fun to use in the ring. So I always figured out a way to like give that dude a push and get him in matches because he had a playable fucking figure. Boss Man wasn't bad either. You could do the hard time slam with him and shit. He came with the nightstick.
He did the headbutt. Akeem did a motherfucking headbutt.
Yeah, his action figure wasn't much for sure, but I dug that both of it. You could do anything with his arms. They weren't just stuck in one motion, like kind of how like Brutus Beefcake was stuck with like his one set of fingers being shaped like some scissors and the other one being in a sleeper hold. And it was a jumper. That figure was horrible. That was one of those you could find anywhere, like I was talking about. Yeah, that Kerry Von Erich figure is fresh as shit.
Love it.
Yeah, didn't ever have it, but I dug the Doink figure because it had like the real hair. It was badass looking.
Doink and Giant Gonzalez is the only figures I had from that 93-94 window. That's it. That's all I had. You know, as a child.
They started drying up around here, man. Like same way I was talking about with the LJNs. Like the shit was going 2 or 3 years after I could find them in here anywhere. I guess like. I don't know if they had a deal with like certain toy outlets or maybe Toys R Us. I think they did have a deal with Toys R Us now that I think about it, and we didn't have a Toys R Us here. So that probably explains it.
Yep. There you go. I know Brandon got to keep a good charge on his phone. We got another show coming for y'all. Top 10 WWF Hasbro figures. What's your top 10 WWF Hasbro figures if you're into this shit? Find us on Goose Clout Gallery every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check out my boys' amazing documentaries on Alice in Chains documentary, Limp Bizkit, all that good happy shit. And we see you motherfuckers on the flip side. Peace, y'all.